side of her. And when Esau came out, Jacob began to grab the hem of Esau's foot. Before Jacob even came out, he was already deceiving. So we're going to move a little further along about the history of Joseph. Joseph's mom's name was Rachel. And for some of y'all that don't know who Rachel is, she was a barren later, but Jacob waited 14 years to marry this particular woman. This is Joseph's mother, y'all. Look at their background. They was very messed up. Joseph and Benjamin, they had the same mom and dad. The other 8 kids came from a different mother. So if you have any kids from somebody else, or you have any fathers, if you have other kids, it's going to be some favoritism along the way. So what had happened was, by Joseph being 17 years old, he was the younger brother at the time. God had already had a plan and a vision for Joseph. But Joseph wasn't yet developed in his full potential that God was giving him. So when God began to talk to Joseph and have Joseph to dream, Joseph being like us sometimes, we get very boastful about what God is getting ready to do. So therefore we begin to share to somebody else on what God is doing when it's not yet time. So when we say something both times, we begin to have people being jealous and try to plot against us. So we're going to go on and continue to talk about Joseph a little while longer. Joseph was one of his father's favorites. He was the youngest, he was the favorite, and his dad loved him dearly. But what happened was, his daddy gave him a ton of, it's like a royal robe. I guess it represented power, that he was going to be next in line, or just showing you that I just love his royalty. And his brothers them saw how his daddy treated Joseph. I know we ain't got no favoritism out there. Y'all don't show favoritism to one child and then to another. But I thank God that he don't show favoritism towards his children. Because some of us will be left out. Jesus. Some of us will be left out. Why? Because some of us don't spend time with him like we should. And then you get mad when God begins to bless somebody else. Y'all better come on and worship our daddy. By God dealing with Joseph in his dream, he began to share his dreams with his brother and his daddy, because he wasn't yet learned on how to deal with stuff. But when we get a little further down, you'll see how God began to change him. So the moral of this story right here is keep your mouth closed when God is dealing with you. That's not the topic. That's the moral of the story. If you don't want nobody, they're going to be jealous. But if you don't want to help them to get more jealous, keep your mouth closed. Keep your mouth closed. And he has to work on me too, because see, I get excited when the Lord is getting ready to deal with me. I have to go and cut teeth up and whack. It ain't time yet to share everything. Keep your mouth closed until that season comes. By the brothers being so jealous, they was already jealous for the tuna. Then when Joseph began to share his dream to his siblings and his father. And the dream that he shared to him, he said in verse 5, 37 and 5. Now Joseph had a dream and he told it to his brothers, and they hated him even more. So he said to them, please hear this dream which I have dreamed. See that? We ready to go. I know you're busy, but just hold on, let me tell you what God done told me. See, God ain't ready to reveal all that yet, but here I am trying to move it ahead of him. So now you finna cause even more problems. Jesus. What had happened was, he began to share his dream. It said, there was binding shelves in the field. Then behold, my shepherd rose. See, you being yours on rose up, my eyes can see it down. And it said, I also stood upright, straight up, and they wasn't bent to the side, it wasn't cocked that way, but it was straight up. And indeed, your shelves stood all around. Look at that, bow down. All y'all shelves, my brothers bowed down. Okay, so that represent that they were finna get ready to bow down to Joseph. But see, it wasn't time for Joseph to reveal that. So by him telling his brother them the dream, they got even more. Ain't what you talking about, what you mean? Here it again, say then he dreamed still again, another dream. Couldn't wait to go tell that one either. I tell you what. So what had happened was by him telling his dream to his brothers. Look at your neighbor and tell him, somebody finna get promoted. I don't know if it's a physical promotion. I don't know if it's a spiritual promotion. But somebody finna get promoted up here. Y'all better stop it. Stop. Don't stop. I see when I tell you what Joseph went through, you ain't gonna want it. Sit down, man. Sit down. Sit down, man. This thing gonna cost you something. It's gonna cost you something. You sure you want this promotion? Let me tell you now. Hey, it said that Joseph's daddy, the kids, they was out there, the 10 brothers. Look now, he said 10 brothers. 10 brothers. They conspire in a plot to murder. To murder the brother. Who is plotting against you? Who trying to see you get killed? Or actually doing the killing themselves? Y'all still want the promotion? Y'all still want it? Okay, well, we're going to sell you into slavery. But what had happened was they tried to plot and scheme against Joseph. See, he unaware. He thinking everything is good. And when it talked about 10 brothers, God let me know it's somebody close to you. Close. Real close. Somebody that you love so dear. Gonna try to kill you. They trying to kill you, y'all. But one thing about it, you can't kill what God is keeping alive. We going on down. Joseph's daddy told him to go out there in the field and go and attend to your brother. Go get your brothers. They see them coming, y'all. I can't read everything to you, but just follow along in the story. But I can promise you, if you go to chapter 30, Genesis 37 to 45, you will get everything. Hallelujah. But he went on and he went to go find his brothers because they was getting ready to sell him into slavery. It said, number 18, verse 18, it said, when they saw him afar off, even before he came near them, they conspired against him to kill him. Then they said to one another, look, this dreamer is coming. They done labeled him now. This dreamer, that holy one is coming. That thing that got the Holy Ghost on and shit, thanks y'all that. She is coming. You know, those folks don't want the truth, so they'll get them running from it. They go, that dreamer, what can we do to kill him? It said, come therefore, let us now kill him and cast him into a pit. Man, they trying to put y'all in a hole. They trying to put you in a hole. But look, Joseph ain't buck against him. He went on in that hole. Because guess what? He had the Spirit of the Lord on him. So he went on in the hole. I don't know if he bucked against them or not. But what my Bible tells me, they threw him in a pit. Sometimes we feel like, because Reuben gonna come along, and he gonna say in verse 21, but Reuben heard it and he delivered him out of their hands. It's still a brother. Even though I'm not gonna severely just kill you or let you die. But baby, we ain't gonna shed no innocent blood. We gonna sell your jail. You're still doing wrong. Even though it ain't the worst of the worst, but I'm still doing evil towards you. Jesus Christ. Our love's still the same. And Reuben said to them, shed no blood, but cast him into this pitch which is in the wilderness. Do not lay a hand on him that he might deliver him out of their hands and bring him back to his father. See, they don't even want Joseph back to the daddy. Because what's going to happen right now, I'm not going to read all that part, but go back and read it. Israelite, he came along. And they sold Joseph for 20 pieces of shekel. What they failed to realize, they thought they wasn't going to sin no more. So many times people in our lives do something to hurt us. They probably can't even bring up our past to try to crush us. They make us try to run. Some of us have been sold into slavery. But see, we look at this thing, look like it's a bad thing. But baby, when we get on down, it wasn't even the brothers that sold Joseph into slavery. This thing had to happen. So whatever in your life that you feel like it's turmoil, it had to happen. How you expect to get promoted if you ain't going through the little stuff that you already in? You gotta say that. We wonder sometimes because, you know, we talk about finances a lot because that's one of the things that we need. We talk about our feelings being hurt because that's how we feel on the inside and the out. But see, it had to happen that the husband left because see, now God has put me in my full potential on what I needed to do. And that is to preach the gospel to anyone that wants to hear it. See, it had to happen for whatever happened in your life. So God can put you in a place so you can hear and see it. But in spite of you being in that situation, I'm not going to call it bad. You got promoted. You're going to see how he got promoted in his troubled place. In that dry place where the people had talked so badly and did so badly against you. But by him staying in slavery. See, we worry about the situation, the predicament, or position that we are in right now, regardless if it's spiritual or physical. We worry about why we hadn't climbed to the top yet. But see, Joseph was a slave for 11 years. 11. He was 17. When he got sold into slavery, he stayed in slavery for 11 years. Hold down a little bit. In those 11 years, come on, Holy Ghost. 39 verse 3. He was sold to one of the guards, one of the officers in Pharaoh's army. It said his master saw that the Lord was with him. And that the Lord made all he did to prosper in his hands. So Joseph found favor here inside of slavery. Finding favor by the Lord being with you. So what if you're a doormat? So what if you're on the post? So what if you're sweeping and mopping on your job? So what if it seems like you're not going nowhere? Joseph, it said that Joseph had the spirit of the Lord. What job are you doing that you don't like, but you doing it anyhow? Not grumbling, mumbling, and complaining about the position that you're in. Physical or spiritual. God is watching everything that you do. So if you're going to act a certain way when you're down here, how are you going to act like you're a man or woman of God when you get up here? See, God got to help make and mold us. So he knew that Joseph was still a baby at the time. So therefore he had to cause some calamity to come his way. But in the midst of him going through his slavery, in the midst of him going through something else that he's finna go through, God is finna raise him up. He ain't finna raise him up. He already done raised him up, called him. So Joseph found favor in his sight and served him. Then he made, say promotion. Say promotion. Say promotion. It said he made him an overseal of everybody inside of that household. But see, don't nobody want to be a slave. Don't nobody want to work to the bone. Don't nobody want to wipe the walls. Don't nobody want to do this or do that. We feel like we are above and beyond this his house and all that he had. Some of y'all don't even understand how you get blessed the way you get blessed. Some of you really don't understand that you're getting blessed the way that you are getting blessed. It's blessing of other people that's overflowing unto you. My Bible tells me, it says, so it was from the time that he had made him overseer of his house and all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Jacob's sake. He said he blessed the house for Jacob's sake. You ought to thank God for praying mothers. You ought to thank God for praying family members. You ought to thank God for praying friends. You ought to thank God just for being who he is. Unchanging. Even though Jacob was in slavery, Jacob rose to the top. He rose to the top. And then when you feel like it can't get no worse, it gets worse. By him working inside of the house of his master got a wife. Now the enemy done crept in, and she wanted Jacob to lay with her. How many of y'all can turn it away? Be honest with yourself. How many of y'all can turn the sex away if you are not married? How many of y'all can turn it away? That's right, even if you're married, how many of y'all can turn it away? But I'm going to tell you, the Bible tells us to flee temptation. And that's what Joseph did. In spite of, see, this thing, they coming when ain't nobody else around, because that's what you did. Them was the only two inside of the house. Just because you see nobody's looking or nobody's around, God always sees everything. Are you going to still stay saved and holy, the person that you are, even when you behind closed doors? What Jacob did, it said he ran. Before he ran, he left a piece of his garment. She had to throw a piece of his garment on. But that's all right. That's all right. It says so she kept his garment with her until his master came home. Then she spoke to him with words like these: the Hebrew servant you brought to us came to me to mock me. So it happened as I lifted up a voice and cried out that he left his garment with me and he fled outside. How many of y'all done been lied on? How many of y'all done been lied on? This right here, Joseph still didn't get mad. This is part of the process. He had to read it. So it was when his master heard the words which his wife spoke to him, saying, your servant did to me after this manner. I'm in 1939. That his anger was aroused. Then Joseph's master took him and put him into prison and a place where the king prisoners was confined. And he was there in prison. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy. And he gave him, there it is, y'all, favor. He gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. Oh, God. Oh, my Jesus. Oh, my Jesus. Do I have a witness? Can I just have one that has the favor of God upon their life? That has the favor? But the Lord was with Joseph, and he showed him mercy. We got to look at our situations and our circumstances now and see. Because the enemy planning our mind to have us all bottled up and have us feeling like everything is the end. But we got to really look at this thing in detail. If you are in position of the Holy God and the Holy Spirit is living inside of you and you got some stuff that's rising up against you, baby, you know it got to be for the Lord's sake. But on the other hand, if you're in a position where stuff is coming up against you and you causing it on Because see, you want to have people get jealous of you when you move to another position. They're going to talk about you. But see, if it's the Lord's doing, you'll be able to stay. And don't worry about what that one said. Or worry about what this one right here say. Worry about what that one say. You just stand. Because when God begins to bless you, people going to be like, you know what? Oh, they got to be still and watch them. Watch them. Watch them. They got to be still and keep your eyes on them. Watch me, baby. Because as long as you keep on watching, you're going to get converted. You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm saying? But some people can't stand to be blessed. They'll go back and tell the folks, you know what? I don't want this position. Just because of the pressure of other folks. That's why I say it's going to take the Holy Ghost. Because, baby, you're going to cry in a secret place. Because it's not going to feel good to you because everybody's turning their back against you. You got to preach that real. They're turning their backs against you because you are doing something for the Lord. And God is promoting you into another position. Somebody about to get promoted in here. I don't know who it is. Somebody about to get promoted. Joseph, 17, got sold into slavery. By him being sold into slavery, he became an overseer, y'all. Inside of the man, his master's house. He was an overseer. When you thinking people are not watching you, they are. But most importantly, God is watching. Just because people don't give you the recognition that you need or you deserve, don't worry about that. God got your back, baby. But by Joseph being in the prison, and God find favor in Joseph in prison, he became the prison administrator. I don't think y'all heard it. He became a prison administrator. The stuff that Joseph had to go through, it had to happen. By Joseph being in prison, see, God got this thing, he got it all worked out. But see, when we have our position up against us, we fail to realize that God is working. So therefore, we'll get in our own corner mind and begin to plot some bad things against God and be like, you know what? He ain't moving fast enough. I done paid my tithe. I done gave you your glory, God. Now I need for you to move in my life. But one thing about it, don't be pushing God to bless you in an area. Because see, God is trying to take his time because there's some stuff that needs to be taken out in order for him to put in. My God. By Joseph being obedient to the voice of the Lord, he was thrown in prison. And it say the keeper of the prison did not look into anything that was under Joseph's authority, because the Lord was with him, and whatever he did, the Lord made it prosper. Regardless on whatever you have, if you are in tune and connected with God, begin to make your requests to him, and he will answer your prayer if it's in his will. All you got to do is be obedient. And it may cost you some stuff. We don't want our children to be out there in the streets. We don't want our kids to be thrown in prison. But it's our job to stay in the face of God and do what God has called for us to do as being parents. That's right. But we don't know what God is doing if he get put in a situation like that. But whatever the situation may be, we still gonna give God the glory. We're not gonna turn our backs on God just because it don't look right. People say it all the time about you being a pastor. Not talking about me, just in general. Why you got troubled kids? Why your kids can't prosper or go to the next level? Or why your kids can't make good grades if you are a minister of the gospel? Why your kids going through so much? Why your house in a wreck? Why things ain't going the way it's supposed to be? Oh, Jesus. I'm here to tell you, to let you know, it's not about When I tell you, our God is so awesome. It went on down while he was in prison. I'm finna get ready to close in a few minutes. While he was in prison, it was Pharaoh cast two of his peoples in prison. He cast two of his peoples in prison. It was a chef and it was a butler. See, God was already dealing with Joseph in dreams, and he couldn't yet understand what God was revealing to him in his dreams. But by God put him in a confined spot. He was able to deal. He was able to talk to him the way that he needed to talk to him. Sometimes when we find ourselves all alone, God is trying to have the one-on-one time with us. Are you ready to mature? Are you ready to go to the next level? If you are ready to go, then it's going to cost you some stuff. Friends are going to turn away. They're not going to want to hear what you got to say. Can you still stand it? No, you can't. If you ain't got the Holy Ghost, you can't stand it. Because you'll be ready to go find that friend because you used to have a good time. You used to have a good time. But see, when you sell yourself out unto the Lord and you begin to be my friend, so when me, you are both on the same page, preaching and teaching the gospel. But see, if I'm on this side preaching and you over there, there is no connection unless you're trying to follow Christ. But see, if you're not following Christ, it's going to be a division. But what I can do is keep feeding you the word. But we can't hang like we used to. Nobody want to leave their friends. They don't want to leave their friends. On this journey, it's not about a friend. It's not about a friend. When you get in tune with God, he will have a friend for you. He will surround you around positive friends. I'm trying to get you the way you need to be. But anyway, to make a long story short, these two men, they came in and they had dreams. And I was trying to figure that thing out before Joseph even interpreted their dream. I said, okay, well, this one right here dreamt of a bird, and the bird came down in the basket, and he ate the food off his head. I said, all right now, Lord, that means that he gonna feed the bird. God said, be careful about interpreting dreams. Everybody feel like they can interpret a dream just because it look like fire, just because it look like water. You better be careful about putting your mouth on interpreting a dream. She came to me one time, she said, Mom, I dreamt about this. But before I read that, I'm going off of my own intellect. But when I read this, boy, I said, baby, I can't help you. You got to pray to the Lord. I see, I'm not an interpreter. I'm not a dream interpreter. I am a preacher of the gospel. That's my job. That's what I do. So I can't step over here and interpret her dream. I can't get it unless God get it to me. So I'm not going to pretend that I know. That's right. That's right. One thing about it now, Joseph finna help you out. These two men, when he had the dream about the birds, he told that one that had the bird on his head, he said, you finna get hung. I ain't see nowhere in that dream that it sounded like that man was finna get hung. And the bird was gonna eat off the top of his head. I didn't see that. That's because I'm not a dream interpreter. He didn't get that to me. I would have never thought of it. But he would let the man know that you finna get hung. By you being hung, them birds finna come eat off the top of your head. See that? See that? Come on. The other one, he had a dream. He said he had a vine, three branches. Three branches, what that represent? Everybody say the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Don't y'all say it, I'm just saying. We are the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. No, it's 3 days. 3 days. Jesus, wait a minute. Okay, I stay in my lane right here. But when he began to tell the dream, he told the man, sure enough, it came to pass. But when he told the dream about the branches, he says, you are going to go back into Pharaoh's kingdom. And that cup that you had, you're going to give him some wine. So he didn't get killed. He was going back. But Joseph told him, you remind him of me. You let him know who I am. And when he went there, sure enough, it came to pass. The one he told that the bird was going to be eating off his head, it came to pass. It's down in the 40th chapter. Read from 9 on down. It came to pass. Jesus. When he told the guy about him serving Pharaoh in the 3 branches in 3 days, he was going to go back into the kingdom, it came to pass. Time passed by, and it was 2 years. The one that said he was going to let Pharaoh know that he interpreted his dream. He didn't tell him, y'all. He didn't tell him. He didn't tell him 2 years had done passed by. When you think God has forgotten about you, he hasn't. It may take some years for God to bring whatever that thing is you've been asking him for to come to pass. But you got to wait and you got to be patient on it. God is going to see you through. So it said 2 years had passed. That same man who he interpreted his dream, he remembered Joseph. But see, when he went back them 3 days, he didn't. 2 years passed by. It said then it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh had a dream, and behold, he stood by the river. Go back and read chapter 41 and start telling you about your dreams with the fat calves and the skinny calves. But it said that Pharaoh, now it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled. See, his spirit got troubled because, see, he called on the musician. He called on everybody that knew how to interpret dreams. Came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled. And he sent and called for all the musicians of Egypt and all its wise men. And Pharaoh told them his dream, but there was no one who could interpret them for Pharaoh. Then the chief butler spoke to Pharaoh, saying, I remember my faults this day, when Pharaoh was angry with his servant and put me in custody in the house of the captain of the guard, both me and chief baker. We each had a dream in one night, and he and I, each of us dream according to the interpretation of our own dream. Now there was a young Hebrew man. He is remembering what Joseph done. A servant of the captain of the guard. And we told him, and he interpreted our dreams for us. To each man he interpreted according to his own dream. It came to pass, just as he interpreted for us, it happened. He restored to me my office, and the other one got home. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, because Pharaoh began, I'm not going to read the part that Pharaoh told him about the dreams with the fatty calves and stuff on what that meant. We can't get so jealous of people positioning and how God is using someone in a certain area. Because what Joseph became, he became the second powerful man of Egypt. You know, Pharaoh was number 1. Joseph became the second powerful man in the kingdom. There was no other wiser than Joseph in Pharaoh, and saying Egypt time, but Joseph. It said, now Pharaoh said to Joseph, how many times Joseph got promoted? If you still in the same spot over some years, something wrong. Something wrong if you still in the same position. We ought to see some elevation going on. Somewhere or another, you ought to be getting elevated to another level. It don't take that long to move. It's going to take you to put some preparation in your walk. I'm telling you now, don't get mad with nobody if you had elevated to another level. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, and as much as God has shown you all this, there is no one as discerning and wise as you. You should be over my house, and all my people shall be ruled accordingly to your word. Only in regard to do the throne will I be greater than you. That's the only thing he said, I'm greater than you as just being on the throne. Jesus. I don't think y'all got it. Need to read it again. Yeah, read it. After Pharaoh interpreted the dream, after Joseph interpreted a dream for Pharaoh, Pharaoh said to Joseph, inasmuch as God has shown you all this, there is no one as discerning and wise as you. You shall be over my house, and all my people shall be ruled according to your word. only in regard to the throne. This is all I got right here is the throne, but you in charge of everything. And Joseph said to Pharaoh, see, I have set you over all the land of Egypt. I don't know who God is speaking to on today, but he can't get to you because you won't yet yield to what God is speaking into your life on today. He's trying to get you in a place with him, but you are so crowded and clouded with things of the world. We can't be in the world, of the world, but we're in the world. So therefore we can't do what we want to do half of the time. Not half of the time, but all of the time. God said he got a promotion waiting on somebody. All you got to do is believe the report of the Lord. Regardless, children, talking to you, whether you've been promoted to the next grade, God is here to give you exactly what you need. But you seem like you won't get to that point because you let other people bring you down. Have you still been inside of the pit? They don't slow you into slavery. What God is saying, whatever position that you are in right now, do it well. Do it well. I don't care if it's cleaning out a slop bucket. You do it well. You be the best cleaner you know how to do. How to be. Get that stuff. Clean it out. Wash them walls. Whatever it takes, because you're not doing it for man. Man don't get this glory. All the glory goes to God. How you expect to see God get the glory if you ain't never been through nothing? Mama, you stop troubling yourself about your son. You stop troubling yourself about your son. You let the Lord will be done. Because see, when God do it, it's gonna go full. And it's gonna be prosperous. You take your hands off it, you just continue to be obedient and you pray. Whatever God's decision is, you let it be done. In Jesus' name, everything is not gonna go good in our lifetime. And we got to trust God when we at our worst. You see what I'm saying? How we expect for him to get the glory if we ain't never going through nothing? See, we always want to walk around with a smile on our face. We always want to walk around with a pocket full of money. We always want to walk around with our gas tank full. We always want to have a refrigerator full of food. We all want our kids to be obedient. Not in this time, says the Lord. We're going to see just how bad you want me. Just how bad you desire me. If I don't bring that disobedient child out, we will still praise me. Still in slavery, you see what I'm talking about? If I don't give you the husband that you want to, will you still praise me? So you don't fit the prison now. If I don't give you the money that you want to pay a specific bill, will you still praise him? He wants somebody that gonna worship and serve him to the end, regardless who comes in my life or who leaves. And on this battlefield, you're gonna find yourself getting worried and crying. Guess what? It's normal. It's normal to cry. It's normal. I hear a lot of people saying you don't have to cry no more. This thing get hard, and I will not tell you a lie. You will find yourself in a bathroom crying while you're at work, and then you come back out like ain't nothing happened, ain't nothing going on. You'll find yourself in church going to the bathroom crying. Come back out to don't nobody know nothing. So we're gonna have some crying days. So don't feel like it's something strange, because it's not. But if you position yourself to get in tune with God, he's going to promote you. He's going to elevate you to another level. But I'm here to remind you, when you get promoted, don't think that you're so higher than someone else. Don't think that you're so higher and mighty as someone else. Got your nose too up there. Ain't nobody touch me. I'm working in the lie. You are setting yourself up for failure. You go out there and you begin to reach as many people as you can, sharing your testimony out how God brought you out, how God has elevated you to another level. This is what we do. And if we love Christ, we love God's people. Say this right here in closing. When Joseph got his position, see, God trained him and he taught him. It's 13 years now. 13 years since he was in captivity, from slavery to prison was 13 years. Because we know that Joseph got sold into slavery when he was 17. And it said when the prison man came, they remembered Joseph 2 years later. So that means that he went to jail after them 11 years, he went to prison. And he stayed in prison for 2 years. But the thing of it is, the famine had came. And there was nothing over there in Canaan. The dad's son, the brothers, the same brothers. Somebody about to come back to you and apologize. I don't know who it is that done you wrong, but they finna come back and they finna apologize to you.
You gotta get out of there.
After God had done dealt with Joseph within those 13 years. He dealt with him for 13 years. In those 13 years, God talked to him. He matured Joseph up now. Joseph didn't think that he was better than anybody. He didn't think just because the man got promoted 3 times in 13 years, y'all. 3 times. An overseer. Then he became a prison administrator. Then he became second ruler over each. See, some of y'all feel like y'all ain't adequate enough to get these positions. But the devil is a lie. My Bible tells me all things are possible through Christ that strengthens me. So whatever God has for me, I want it. If that means I got to go back to school and get a higher position, that's what I do. But it's not for me. But see, sometimes you don't even have to go back to school to get it. Because God wants you with it, it's yours. Anyway, it said that the brothers came to Egypt. See, God had to grow them up. He had to mature Joseph. But some of us not yet mature yet. Because see, when people been done you wrong, and they come to you for something, didn't I tell you they were gonna need me? Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? It ain't for your self-glory. It ain't about what you done told. Keep your mouth closed. What's taking place is coming from the Lord. By God dealing with Joseph. Joseph matured. When his brothers came, he disguised himself. He didn't want them to know who he was at first. He knew who his brothers was. But the brother didn't know who he was. In my Bible, it said that Joseph, after they went to Canaan, he told him to go bring the younger brother back because he felt like they had them did something to the younger brother like they did to him. See, they had different daddies. No, they had the same daddy but different mamas. The other brothers. So the one he was fishing for was his blood brother. That was the mama and the daddy child. Rachel ain't have but 2. But the other brothers from a different mama, they got jealous. Even though they did some stuff to hurt you, they tried to kill him, y'all. They sold him and thought maybe he was a Messiah. They thought that he wasn't coming back. Preach it, Jesus. Glory. God had them to go back. They didn't have any food, y'all. When Joseph seen his siblings, go fetch for your little brother, then come back to see me.
My God, that's a word.
He went and got the little brother. Paraphrasing, y'all, ain't gonna read the whole thing to you. When they came back, they had a feast. Had a little eating inside Pharaoh's bench or whatever you want to call it. Joseph couldn't eat. They had a little traditional thing to where the Hebrews couldn't eat with the Egyptians. But he had them inside of his home. And he began to prepare a meal for his brothers. But he ate in a different area as them. After he got done eating, it said that Joseph went away secretly and he began to weep. I wonder why he was weeping. I wonder why he was weeping for his brothers. Was it because of the situation they was in? Was it because his dream had done came to pass? What it is, Joseph? Why was you weeping? Ah! I can kind of feel it because when people do you wrong, and when you have the Spirit on the Lord on the inside of you, and now you got to start treating them right, even though you're trying to kill me. Had somebody to lie on me, put me in prison for nothing. Sold me into slavery because of my dream.
Glory.
You tried to kill me. But look, you got to come back. If God has promised you something, stand on it. Stand on the promise that God has said to you, because it's coming to pass. After the brothers came back and came back again, he began to reveal himself to his brothers. And he told them, so now it was not you who sent me here. We ready to blame somebody for the stuff that we go through. But see, Joseph could have easily blamed his sibling for putting him in prison, put him in slavery, and then for him going in prison. He said, don't y'all trouble yourself, because this is not your doing. And he has made me, and say now it was not you who sent me here, but God. And he had made me a father to Pharaoh, and Lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Whatever you got going on in your life, stop pointing a finger and saying that they did this to me. They made me say this. You're the reason why I'm in slavery. You're the reason why I got put in prison. You're the reason why he left. You're the reason why I don't have what I should have. Because see, if I had not been with you, I'd be a little further along than where I am right now. It ain't nobody's fault. If you're in the spiritual realm with God. He said, it is not you that sent me here, but God. God will put us through some tests. He's not going to tempt you. He puts you through tests for you to pass.
That's right.
So on today, whatever bad situation that we call bad, it's not bad. We got to keep looking to the hills from which cometh our help, y'all. The Lord is trying to help somebody get to the place where they need to be. We all want to be promoted, but can you handle the promotion when it comes? Somebody is going to receive it on today, and you're going to get it. You're going to get that promotion on today. But the thing is, when God elevates you to another level, it's not for you to look down on someone else. He went back and he grabbed his family. On down in the store, he went back and told him to go bring his daddy. Matter of fact, go bring the whole family. Who are you reaching out to? The blood of men, the body of Christ. Who are you reaching out to? Or are you being selfish and just want it for yourself? Think about it. Our God is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all we can ask or think. I am a witness. I'm not just telling you something that I done heard. I'm telling you something that I know from experience. God has took the high school dropout.
Come on.
He has took a high school dropout.
My God.
I thank God that yes, 3 kids already graduated. The curse has been broken. No child left behind. Even though it looked like one is going astray, it's not my job to go and find him, but it's my job to pray for you, baby. I'm not going to call the law on you. I'm going to pray. I'm not going to do anything to hurt you besides try to train you up in a way that you should go. Now I'm going to look for God to take off and rule in that area. But when he took the high school dropouts, you might well say 8th grade education because I just went into the 9th grade after 2 weeks. I had done quit. Forget that. I quit school. I didn't know how important it was to have an education.
Come on, help us.
But I quit because I wanted to be grown before my time. Not knocking nobody that got an education.
That's right.
A degree.
Come on.
Not knocking you at all. But mine, I had to go through it. Because I seen the power of God move. How did I see him move? I don't even know where to begin. But I know everything that happened in my life, it was all for God's glory. It was all for God's glory. Because I went back and got that GED in 2008. I went back. I like for people to tell me that I can't do it.
Come on. Holy Ghost, show.
Tell me I can't do it. Baby, you just don't know I worship a God. Ah, that can change your mind and your heart. So if I know if I seek his kingdom, everything else, that's right, will be added unto me. So whatever God has for me, it's for me. And when the promotion part, to let you know our God is for real, it ain't just biblical. That's true, but it's real. Lost the job. I didn't give up. Went to another job. Didn't like it at all. Didn't like it at all, but I gave it my all. I gave it my all. I wanted to be the best thing over there. Whatever I do it to the best of my ability.
That's right.
It's not to outdo or outshow somebody, but it's to let you know that I work for the Lord. So when I begin to work for the Lord, I'm going to give it my all and my best. Regardless if you give me a little money or not, I still got to be obedient to the Lord. I wanted to quit. I wanted to quit. If I would have gave up, who was going to pay my bills? This how the enemy work on your mind. Who going to pay the bills?
That's right.
God don't hear your prayers. Oh, yes, he do.
Yes, he do.
Who going to pay my bills? I say, Lord, I need you now. I need you, Jesus. Why am I over there? Huh? Why you got me over here when you said I'm the hell? The head and not the tail. Why am I over here? You say I'm the Lord and not the Lord. Why you got me over here? I'm ministering to people and telling them they don't have to start from the bottom, but you got me at the bottom. Ah!
That's real.
He said, I got you there. Hey, y'all so say. Oh, Jesus. I I got you there for a reason.
Oh, yes.
What is your assignment on your job? What is your assignment on your job? What is your assignment on your job? And it is you doing it to the best of your ability. Not for you to get the glory, but it's for God to get close to get the glory. And the reason I can say it was of God, evidence sit here. Evidence sit right here. The reason why I had to go there. I've been telling her from the beginning, I don't know why God got me here. But she can be a witness and tell you the job that I did. I gave it my all. With the little mad money that I did make. She was my assignment. She was my assignment. Evidence that our God is real. Our God is real. He is real because after the assignment, I believe I made a passing grade. And the reason why I say I made a passing grade, because God promoted me to make more money than what I had made. I had never seen it before in my life. I had never seen the money before in my life. I know God works. I know that He works. But see, will you be about God's business? Or are you worried about your coins? I get worried sometimes, but when I begin to think about Jesus and begin to call on His name, because can't nobody give me as much money as Jesus can. And then it's not all about the money, as we done said, but He give you a peace of mind to endure what I need. It's promotion time. It's promotion time. God trying to see will you be obedient. It's promotion time. I don't know who's going to be a minister, a prophetess, an evangelist, a doorkeeper, a usher, a server. I don't know what your promotion may be. Maybe physical on your job. You may be finna get a raise. God is about to blow somebody's mind. Just because you endured your slavery, your prison, He's about to elevate you into another place in Him. It's yours, says the Lord. It's yours, says the Lord. All you got to do right now is believe. And if you are not on the spiritual level and you don't even know what we're talking about, there's still hope. All you got to believe, all you got to do is receive Jesus as your Lord and personal Savior. And He will not leave you out there on your promotion. When you get promoted, you won't have to worry about what the naysayers say.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
You begin to go and pray for them, because that's what it's going to take. Because us as being, they say human, I told you I don't have common sense.
Yeah.
I'm crazy.
Yeah.
I'm a straight out basket case. You know that, don't you? I go cuckoo for Cocoa Puff, but I go cuckoo for Cocoa Puff for Jesus. I am that crazy one. I done been through too much to turn around.
That's right. That's right.
Too much to turn around. Eternity is the destination.
That's right.
So if you know you need to find Jesus and you want someone to come and connect with you to help you get the promotion that you're looking for. But the thing is, we can't help you get the promotion, but we can help get you to the one that can provide
That's right.
the promotion.
That's right.
So if you don't want to be left out and you want to have that spiritual connection with the Lord. Because see, God